It's just a great movie.
An essential. I love the dialogue that Francis Marion wrote for Jackie Cooper, like when he went into that house of his mother's and he says, "This ain't a bad dump you got here." You know, it was so typical of what he would do as a kid.
He's so precocious.
And then he's playing out on the veranda and almost you keep worrying he's going to fall off and break his back or something like that.
And yet nothing happens.
No, but so
it
typical
has
of what a kid would do.
Great tension in it.
Yeah.
You know, he's this precocious child throughout the whole film, but the moment he breaks is when his father has died and his mom comes into the room.
Right.
And it's like, for the first time, the sort of stiffness in his body of a little survivalist.
Right.
He just goes
Yeah.
into this sort of noodle-like body in her arms. I mean, it just destroyed me.
Yeah.
It's, you know, the films that like made me cry the hardest when I was a kid was like The Color Purple, Captain's Courageous, again, Paper Moon, and the remake of The Champ that had Jon Voight, Ricky Schroeder, and Faye Dunaway. I could not have been more destroyed by that movie, too. So going back and watching this original, I just think this is one of the greatest films ever made.
And great performances. And we said that Wallace Beery won the Academy Award for it. Actually, he was in a tie, the only tie between actors at that time.
That's right.
With Frederick March and Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
Well, I'm glad that Francis Marion won an Academy Award for this, because I think it is one of these classic films, but it's this classic story, and you can see why, you know, it's been repeated and redone. I do think that it is one of these perfect stories that you can continue to remake in different ways, but it's just such a perfect piece of writing.
We should also tell about, because I think it's a interesting backstory about how it came about. Irving Thalberg sent Francis Marion down
Mexico.
to Tijuana because he was looking for a Western for her to write with Wallace Beery, and he wanted her to go, you know, soak up some color. And when she's down there, she walked by a bar one night, and this drunken old ex-prize fighter was there with his son. And it was like Dink and the Champ.
And he called him Champ.
Yeah, and that triggered in her mind, this would be a great story for Wallace Beery. You know, and of course, Jackie Cooper was like the #1 kid star at that time.
That's right.
So she wrote it for them and took it back.
And I think that was when she made the argument of a love story, you know, can really be in another form.
Right.
And I couldn't agree more.
Right, absolutely.
And this film is never better.
And you're never better.
You're never better.
Get out of here.
You get out of here.
Anyway, here's a look at the film we have for you next week on The Essentials. I Love You, Alice B. Toklas, 1968. I really think this may be Peter Sellers' best performance.
This is a film very much of its time.
Jo Van Fleet playing Peter Sellers' mother in this movie is exceptional.
This is a movie with a very unique brand of comedy.
From 1968, I Love You, Alice B. Toklas. That's next Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern. You can find out more at tcm.com. Thanks for joining us for The Essentials.
Tonight on Turner Classic Movies, Mickey Rooney may be due for a man-to-man talk when life begins for Andy Hardy. Then Gene Hackman can't get in tune with his dad in I Never Sang for My Father. And an idealistic career cop son is on the take in Shoot First, Die Later.